economist who has studied the situation in Burma for many years. Development of the tourist industry, creation of a viable financial system, investment as a source of immediate job creation, as well as a source of new ideas, new techniques, and new technologies. He also advises transparency and accountability in the energy sector and the extractive industries in general. The Myanmar Oil and Gas Enterprise, MOGE, the state-owned company under the Ministry of Energy, with which all foreign participation in the energy sector takes place through joint venture arrangements, lacks both transparency and accountability at present. The government needs to apply internationally recognized standards, such as the IMF's Code of Good Practices on Fiscal Transparency. Other countries could help by not allowing their own companies to partner MOGE unless it was signed up to such codes. This would also ensure that their own companies would be subject to the above codes themselves and to the various requirements of publish what you pay. I support wholeheartedly the view that the domestic environment should be structured to make the best use of property rights, rule of law, broad economic stability, functioning infrastructure, which would include soft infrastructure such as education, and an honest, efficient civil service. Greater accessibility to energy, transport and communications, including telephonic and electronic communications, will need particular attention. There is a wide range of reforms that could be undertaken in Burma, not just to make investment attractive, but to make it sustainable and truly beneficial for our people. A democracy-friendly development policy of coordinated social, political, and economic reform will put our country once again on the map of the positive and the successful. No country can claim genuine development until all its peoples can enjoy the basic freedoms, freedom from want and freedom from fear. In such a discussion of potential economic progress, we cannot leave out those of our people who are suffering from insufficient protection of their rights as workers in other lands than our own. During my recent visit to Thailand, I had the opportunity of meeting migrant workers and their representatives and individuals and organizations dedicated to the protection of workers' rights. More than 80% of migrant workers in Thailand are from Burma. It was presented to me that in spite of the 2003 MOU and the 2009 nationality verification process to change irregular workers' status to legal status through issuing of Burmese passports, migrant workers are still facing frequent and significant rights violations because neither Burma nor Thailand has adopted a rights-based approach to managing migration, as exemplified in numerous ILO conventions, and most importantly, in the comprehensive 1990 UN Convention on the Rights of Migrant Workers and their families. Both countries continue to have no clear migration policy and migration management body, and neither country has taken a lead in ensuring the finalization of the stalled ASEAN framework on migrant workers. I understand that representatives of the State Enterprise Workers Relations Confederation will be making a detailed submission on the plight of migrant workers in Thailand to this conference. I would merely like to point out here that concerns related to migrant workers should receive similar consideration to those related to labor issues